You ever notice how your favorite flowers appear bright red on a sunny afternoon, but appear quite black at dawn? As light levels fall, the color will appear darker in comparison to other colors. The Purkije effect is the name given to this phenomenon. The effect was named after John Evangelista Purkije, a Czech anatomist. While the effect is frequently explained in terms related to the human eye, it has been shown in a variety of animals according to the same name to indicate the general shifting of its spectral sensitivity due to the collaboration of rod and cone output signal as part of dark or light adaptation.
The Purkinje effect describes how the colors of objects appear to the change as lighting conditions shift from bright to dim. This occurs because our eyes use different cells to see in a different lighting conditions, with cones responsible for color vision in bright light and rods responsible for detecting light and motion in dim light. As light levels decrease, our eyes rarely more on rods, causing a shift in color perception where bright and vivid colors may appear washed out or gray. The effects is most noticeable during the transition from daylight to twilight, with the color of the sky shifting from blue to gray or reddish to orange.
The following contents of the video will be sensation to perception, which tackles the relationship between sensation and perception, followed by the structure and function of the visual system and its correlation to the Purkinje effect. And the next was the visual perception, which explained how objects were perceived with the Purkinje effect. And lastly was the conclusion, where it discusses the overall summary of the explanation about the correlation between vision and the Purkinje effect.
The Purkinje effect is a fascinating phenomenon that highlights the link between sensation and perception. It is the finding, and when the degree of light varies, so does how we perceive color. Our perception of color specifically change towards the blue end of the spectrum when the light drops. Our eyes' ability to perceive and analyze light is what caused this effect. Rod and cones are the two categories of photoreceptors found in our eyes. Cones are more sensitive to high amounts of light and are in charge of color vision, whereas rods are more sensitive to low levels of light. The rods become more active and the cones become less active under low light situations, which causes a change in color perception towards blue. The way we experience color is influenced by the physical characteristic of light as sensed by our eyes. Our understanding of the universe is impacted by more than just the physical characteristics of the stimuli we encounter. It is also shaped by the circumstances and context in which those stimuli are presented to us.
Since the Purkinje effect is caused by difference in the sensitivity of various types of photoreceptor cells in our retina, it is connected to the structure and functions of the visual system. Light is detected by photoreceptor cells which then transform into an electrical signal that our brain uses to create visual representations. The human retina's blue cones, which are most sensitive to wavelength light in their spectrum, are what are responsible for color vision. Thus, during the daytime, green sensitive cones are active, and at twilight, blue sensitive cones cells are become more prevalent. We are able to visualize information in a variety of lighting conditions, mainly to the Purkinje effect in the visual system.
In visual perception, the Purkinje effect is a phenomenon in visual perception where the degree of illumination alters the relative sensitivity of the eye's cone cells to various wavelengths of light. In particular, the eye's rod cells, which are more sensitive to blue-green light and are more prevalent in low-light circumstances, become more prominent in vision, while the eye's cone cells, which are more sensitive to yellow-red light, become less sensitive. As a result, colors that are bright during the day, like red and oranges, may appear darker in low light, while colors that are less brilliant during the day, like blues and greens, may appear brighter, due to the fact that rod cells predominate more when light levels drop. This effect is more pronounced during the change from daylight to twilight.
The Purkije effect is definitely significant for reproducing images in our vision, but it may also be impaired by various factors, such as aging, physical trauma, and genetic impairments. For example, as the genetic condition retinitis pigmentosa. It is a genetic mutation affecting photoreceptors and the underlying epithelium of the retina of the eye, which in turn affects the perception of colors, since photoreceptor cones are responsible for converting light into electrical signals. And these electrical signals are our perception of amalgamated colors received from stimuli, or the images we see in the environment itself. In simple terms, damages to the retina, whether physical or genetic, will significantly affect the shifting of perceived colors, or the Purkije effect.
A phenomenon called the Purkije effect shows how perception and sensation are connected because each of our photoreceptors has a different sensitivity to light. The amount of illumination in our surroundings has a significant impact on how we perceive color. This effect emphasizes the necessity of the comprehending the intricate mechanisms involved in sensation and perception, as well as the significance of light as a crucial element in determining how we perceive color.
In conclusion, perception is the process by which the brain gathers and interprets information about the world that it receives through our senses. Visual perception is the brain's ability to perceive our surroundings through the light that enters our eyes, receive, interpret, and act upon visual stimuli. The visual perception of colors, patterns, and structures that are perceived exclusively through our vision. All in all, sensory is one of the primary senses. Sensory stimulation occurs by carrying nerve impulses from the sense organs toward the brain when stimuli is perceived. The Purkije effect explains where color perception is brighter at blue light, short wavelength, than red light, longer wavelength.
The Purkije effect is a fascinating phenomenon that highlights the intricate connection between sensation and perceptions. Our perception of color is not static, but rather is influenced by the level of illumination in the environment. This effect is due to the different sensitivity of our photoreceptors to light at different levels of illumination. The Purkije effect is just one example of how our perception of the world is not solely determined by the physical properties of stimuli but is also influenced by context and conditions. Understanding the Purkije effect and other similar phenomena can help us appreciate the complexity of our perceptual experience and the intricate workings of our visual system.